Betting on sports can be hard, but hiring Morgan & Morgan is easy. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/bestbets or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/bestbets. This is a paid advertisement.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard here. Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. As a professional sports bettor, Brad Powers joins the program. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. Make sure you follow him on X. He's at BradPower7. Website is BradPowersports.com. So you did make the case a couple of times leading into the Texas-Clemson game that you love the Longhorns. And that number eventually kept going up, up, and up. And they did cover in that game. Clemson's offense looked pretty good, obviously. So based on what happened in that game overall and that team covering, it's a big number again in their next game against Arizona State. Do you like the Longhorns again?
I don't as much. Although, I mean, I'm not running the window to bet Arizona State either. I do think Texas, with their front, should have a game plan to stop Scadaboo. And then it comes down to can Sam Levitt make some plays. I have some serious doubts there. But with that being said, I had serious doubts on whether Clemson could move the ball. And like you mentioned, I mean, they moved it from the very start, from the first drive of the game, took up half the first quarter, go down and score. They have the game in the fourth quarter, trying to cut it to 7. They get stopped at the goal line. So, yeah, I won a bet, but I don't think it was the right side there. But believe it or not, I haven't made a bet, side or total yet. 13.5. I mean, if you have to be involved, I would still maybe lean Texas here because I made it 14.
I wonder if they can run. It'll be decided in the trenches. I wonder if they can get the running game going with Scadaboo. What say you?
I'd like to think that they can't, but then again, I thought Iowa State would load the box against him, and they didn't, and he ran wild there. But Texas is a different animal. There are no defensive fronts in the Big 12 that are even close to Texas. And obviously, they got a 5-star linebacker in the middle, and then they can walk their safeties up because they're not going to be afraid of the Arizona State wide receivers. So, again, if Arizona State – if I'm Arizona State, I try to throw deep, take a couple shots on that Texas secondary. If they can get it, then maybe they can back a guy out of the box. If they can't, then they're dead in the water here.
All right, we ring in the new year with the Fiesta Bowl, our first playoff game. Boise's had some miracle wins and big upsets before in the Fiesta Bowl. I want some juice early. I want Genty to house one. I thought SMU moved the ball, and then Jennings just would make a ridiculous mistake and either a pick six or another horrible decision, take a sack, had to settle for a field goal, whatever it may be. How about Penn State 11?
Lean Boise State. This one isn't so much about the number for me. It's just I don't think Penn State's overly that great. I mean, I think Bill Connolly had this. I mean, it came down to like Kevin Jennings, 4 passes changed the win probability of the game 40%. Mm-hmm. That's how terrible he was. Obviously, 2 pick sixes. Had a wide open tight end at the start of the game. That would have been a walk-in touchdown. And he throws a pick on that one, or he could have ran for the first down on 4th and 1. They missed a field goal. There are the chances that they had. So that was not that 38-10 final. Penn State was not indicative of that game. So Boise State kind of is that team where I don't think they're going to win, but I think they can keep things interesting here. So I think, I like the pass rush. Maybe they can get after Aller a little bit. So I think they keep it relatively close. But again, it's not a big bet for me. I'll have bigger bets in the other games.
Okay. You were at the Ohio State game. Were you shocked at the Tennessee takeover? I got into this a little bit with Mitch. It's the first ever home playoff game, and all these guys sell their tickets? What'd you make of that? And then the reception they received?
Yeah, I mean, there was legitimate. I know people are saying 40,000. There wasn't 40,000, but there was a legitimate 25, 30,000 Tennessee fans there, particularly on the side that I sat right behind the Tennessee bench. So it was shocking because Ohio State, they're not Notre Dame. They don't sell their tickets. At least they haven't in the past. But that tells you, the overall vibe of the fan base is pretty much doesn't have much faith in Ryan Day. There's been reports that his family's getting death threats, and I can back it up with my own experience. They do the player walk in. And, Ryan Day came up and, he had an armed, guard around him. So much to the fact that it was a guy with like an assault rifle next to him. That's something, nothing screams, let's get into the college football spirit with, an AR-15 or whatever. I don't know my guns that well, but it's shocking. I wish I'd have taken a picture, but I was so shocked and stunned. And the guy walked by me too fast. But vibe wasn't great early as far as pregame. You didn't know. Tennessee looked cold, though. I can tell you that. That was one where I know they're trying to be tough guys, but you could tell that whole sideline was cold. And that game was just over from the start. So the biggest takeaway I have from it, game-wise, is if Ohio State can play like that, they're the best team in the country.
Yeah.
And they'll live up to expectations. I still question whether they can do it 3 more times in 3 consecutive weeks.
That's a great question for sure. Is there any chance it was a low-key advantage play by Buckeyes fans to pay for their trip out to the Rose Bowl? Because that's who they have.
You guys are thinking deeper than me, probably. Because it was a lot of season tickets. We sat in Ohio State season tickets. I mean, they had the chair back and stuff where the season ticket holders. So probably did pay for it because, what they were charging for a lot of those tickets. As far as this game, I'm going to keep it simple. I like the over. We saw points in the earlier meeting.
Yep.
I think, people forget, Oregon left a ton of points on the field in that game. Could have easily scored 40. I would have to think that Ohio State is not going to revert to the Michigan game plan. No, test, throw it vertically, just like they did against Tennessee. So I think as long as we get that Ohio State offensive game plan, and I trust Oregon to be able to score. And there were still some things to be had on Ohio State. You saw Nico running around there a little bit. Dylan can throw, Nico can't. And obviously I expect Oregon's wide receivers to be able to beat man coverage like they did in the earlier meeting. So this one, I usually, knock on wood, don't have to worry about whether it's the Rose Bowl. Fast track, over 55 for me.
Yep, totally agree. The right team is favored here, right, though? The Buckeyes have to be favored in this.
Yeah, Buckeyes are favored. Now, gets to 3, I would be interested in Oregon, but I don't know if we're getting there.
Okay, Mr. Notre Dame. The Sugar Bowl, and it'll probably get over at midnight again. I love how this Rose Bowl holds everything hostage. So your initial reaction to when Notre Dame opened 2.5, and then we get the news that Beck's out. Notre Dame wins, look impressive against Indiana, but you lose Mills, and now they're the underdog. Walk us through what you think now of the late game.
Yeah, so that look-ahead line, I bet Georgia, because I didn't think Notre Dame being favored was going to hold. The public sentiment's not going to hold there. Although we got to be impressed with Notre Dame in that game. They did what they had to do offensively. They dominated them defensively, but boy, it's a cluster injury situation for Notre Dame up front on defensive line. They're already depth shy. They've already lost the starting edge, and now they lose an interior guy and their biggest guy up front. Howard Cross is their best player up front, but their biggest guy, and they need some girth against the interior of the Georgia offensive line is Riley Mills. He's out, so that's a 1 + 1 = 3 type of situation as far as I'm concerned. Notre Dame schedule-wise has not faced anybody near Georgia physicality-wise up front. Georgia, to me, should play with a chip on their shoulder here. And usually when they do that, they can be one of the best teams in the country. Early thought immediately, maybe it's too obvious, but under's got to be the play. This is a rock fight.
Yes.
Total rock fight. The only thing is 44 doesn't take too much. You saw what happened at the Indiana game. There were a couple scores late. So that would be the only concern there. But under 44, that's a bet there to be had. I think Georgia money line. So best bets would be over in the Rose Bowl, under in the Sugar Bowl, Georgia money line, 3 for 3.
Okay. So as a lifelong, diehard fan of the sport first, and you point that out occasionally, right? You're a fan first, then better, and somebody who just spent, a pretty penny to go fly back halfway across the country, 2 different games. How big of a mistake would the sport be making if they eliminated home sites for these early round games that we have in the college football playoffs?
Not only do they need to keep them, they need to advance them and keep them for the next round. At least I would like to see home games all throughout until the title game could be at the Rose Bowl. But I know everyone was bitching and complaining last week as far as, the results of the games. To me, they should have been celebrating it because the atmosphere, especially at Notre Dame leading up to it, was what the sport's all about. It's almost unrivaled. Maybe European soccer, the crowds. But, man, those college campuses for college football, nothing beats it. It's just I don't know. I'm not a religious person, but I'm pretty spiritual. There's just a feeling, a sense in the air and a big-time college football game on a campus. And I want more of it. We should be having this round seeing it. So that was the best thing I wasn't a big fan of the 12-team playoff, but the fact that we got home games, makes me happy about it.
Well, it would be hilarious.
Well said.
Yeah, well said. After all this time, we're not doing anything, that then in a short period of time, they would then turn around and tinker with it and expand, which I don't think they should expand. What would you do? I know you think it's a joke that Arizona State and Boise got buys.
Just see the teams how they should be. I mean, I'm okay with Boise State getting an automatic bid and all conference champs as far as the Power Four getting, automatic bids, but let's just see the teams then. I mean, if the top 2 teams are SEC teams, by all means, or if you want to, you throw a bone because they really need them, the SEC and Big Ten. If those 2 champs get the top 2 seeds, then I'm okay with that. But then just see the teams. Like, is Notre Dame the 7 seed? No, they probably should be a little higher. Obviously, Boise State and Arizona State have no business being the 3 and 4 seed. None. But if they want to be the 9, 10, 11, 12 seed, I'm fine with that. But just see the teams accordingly. We'd have better matchups. We'd had better matchups last week. We'd have better matchups this week. I mean, you are punishing big time the teams that won the Big Ten championship and obviously the SEC championship with much more difficult. These quarterfinal games, Notre Dame, Georgia, and Ohio State, Oregon, those are more like semifinal games. And Penn State and Texas, who lost their championship games, they basically, I'm not going to say they got a bye, but there's a reason why those are double-digit point spreads.
Yeah, no kidding. Quickly here, final minute. Any other games before the playoffs, like in Alabama, Michigan, Louisville, Washington, South Carolina, Illinois, that you're really high on?
One I gave out to clients today, I don't think is being Virginia Tech's missing 13 starters, and I don't think the market has fully aware of their problems. They have 20-plus players in the portal, 13 starters. I think PJ Fleck's really good in bowl games, 5 straight wins for him in Minnesota. I gave out Minnesota earlier today.
All right, buddy. That was awesome. Very cool that you joined us again. Glad that you liked the trip, other than the flight. Oh, boy. But thank you for the time. Happy holidays. We appreciate it, and best of luck this week, okay?
Merry Christmas. Thanks for having me, guys.
There you go. Brad Powers on the Progressive Guest Line, bradpowersports.com. I'm totally with him on the Rose Bowl going over. I think we're getting points.
He's right, too. Imagine if we were doing campus sites again.
You got to do it.
Boise get a home
Have
game.
to do it.
Yeah.
Thursday Night Football betting preview coming up next. We'll update what happened in Circa Survivor, the contest on Christmas Day. I can't believe this is happening for the first time in 11 weeks.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Thursday Night Football tonight. Another line move in this game. Seahawks up to 5 at some spots now. And in fact, now in the first half, they're laying 3.5. That was the number for days leading into this game. So they're oh man.
I loved it till I saw the comments, though, coming out of Seattle. Then again, how do you make the case for the Bears, who have lost 9 in a row? Tough game, but again, the intrigue through the roof. It's got cachet up the yin-yang because of Survivor. So
20 people on it.
Yeah, this is big. This is a big one tonight. So
now, I find this very interesting, by the way.
Uh-huh.
This is the first game the Seahawks have been favored in in 11 weeks.
They have a winning record. They're 8-7. It's the first time they've been favored in 11 weeks.
Oh, and they could easily have 10 wins.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I got to tell you, I thought I'm very high on this Minnesota team. If you go back and look at what happened last Sunday in Seattle, they outgained the Vikings 361 to 296, 6 yards per play to 4.5 yards per play for the Seahawks. They were better out. Geno again, INTs.
I know. Yeah, but Minnesota moved it on them too. 17-7 lead. They had the ball, and then Seattle actually got some stops. But I think Geno can pick them apart here. I'm not high on Charbonnet though, because the rushing attack, and they're banged up. 91 rushing yards per game. That's third worst in the league. And they threw the ball 45 of the first 60 plays against Minnesota. I'm more JSN and DK in this game and what they're going to do through the air. But that brings us to the G-Bank best bet of the day. Utah, give me 2. We got 2. Number 1, I know you're on this and you've been on it for quite some time. Caleb Williams, no interception. 9 games in a row he hasn't thrown a pick. And it was plus money last week. He's like $1.10, $1.05 in that range tonight. Caleb Williams, no interception. The other one is Caleb Williams rushing yards over. Shop it 26.5, 27.5. He's gone over that number 4 of the last 5. He will take off. You could get it in 2 runs, but he's not afraid to take off and run. And again, 4 of the last 5, he's gone over that prop as well. Best Bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VSiN. If you're serious about sports betting, you need the G-Bank Visa signature card. Most credit cards treat sports books and gaming transactions as cash advances when you put your own money on the card. GBank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're typically saving up to the 3 to 5% on cash advance fees right then and there. Right now, for a limited time, a $250 bonus after you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. Apply now. VSiN.com/GBank. VSiN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval.
I'll expand on this during In-Pocket Plays about Geno Smith's health. But what if something happens to him tonight and we have to get the Sam Howell experience yet again?
I don't want it.
That changes the entire dynamic. I tell you this, the 20 people that are on Seattle in Circus Survivor, it's the last thing that they would want to happen. And they're going to go into full panic mode if that would happen early on in this game.
Mm-hmm. Well, hedge accordingly.
And that would be and none of them, I don't think, would probably take the Seahawks if Howell was the starting quarterback going into this game.
Yeah.
Because Geno's not right. He admitted it.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is one hit.
True. But the Bears' defense has been horrendous since that Green Bay game.
Yeah.
I don't see them getting any stops here.
So you mentioned that you want to be on JSN tonight.
He's in the mid-70s.
I bet him when it was over 69.5.
Okay.
Here are some of the games going back. Against the Vikings, had 12 targets, 8 catches for 95 and a touchdown. I also played him plus 180 to score a touchdown tonight. Against Green Bay, 12 targets, had 10 catches for 83 yards. Arizona, 82 yards and a touchdown. The Jets, 74 yards. Now, he only had 4 targets, caught all 4 passes. You can't rely on that, but he did. Arizona, 6 for 77 and a touchdown. The Niners game, he had 11 targets, 110 yards. The Rams game, he had 13 targets, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. And he had 69 yards in a blowout loss against the Bills. As Charch said 2 hours ago, basically he's been a top tier, one of the best receivers in the league for going on 2 months now. So I played plus 180 for a touchdown tonight, and I got in when the receiving yards number was still around 69.5. But I'm a little hesitant here.
You think DK scores? They got DK and JSN touchdown plus 850.
Both guys?
The Bears can't stop anything.
I would be more concerned about if they get down close to the goal line that it's going to be maybe Charbonnet getting the touches.
Right.
John Hansen, the guru, earlier today on VSiN made the case for Noah Fant. Plus 475 to get into the end zone. The Bears have been hideous against tight ends.
He's 20-1 first touchdown. I'll take some of that.
Maybe if you can find a bomb number on him to score, Guru could have been onto something there.
No touchdown, 135-1. Fog could be a problem. And
well, how about that? We get the fog bowl all over again.
And then Bears left guard, left tackle out as well. Don't like the comments out of Chicago either. Like Komet. Yeah, help for morale. Yeah, no kidding. If you lost 9 in a row, you're going to end the season on an 11-game losing streak. I got news for you. You're not going into Lambeau and win. So if you lose this one tonight, oh boy. Yeah. How about the Pete Carroll nonsense? Maybe Schefter's carrying water for an agent there, but that's what Florio said, and they got into it on X.
Of course they did,
as well. But that's like, okay.
You're not going to go Pete Carroll. I like the guy. You're not going to go Pete Carroll at this point. He's in his, early to mid-70s? You're not going to hire that old of a head coach. You can't do that. That would be a huge mistake. And again, I like Pete Carroll.
It's over. If Ben Johnson, according to reports, wants the job, you hire Ben Johnson. That's it. And I go Ben Johnson, Kingsbury, Vrabel with my order. Because you got to fix and get Williams right. And you would think Kingsbury could do it after what he's done for Daniels.
I got to be honest. Again, and I've said, and I stick by this, I think Williams is a long ways away from being like a reliable franchise quarterback. But he absolutely has moments. The part that I can't stand is that there's no structure.
Right. Again, so take off right.
It's everything is breakneck with him. There's got to be chaos and there's got to be scrambling immediately. And he goes into let's make something happen on my feet first, and then I'll try to find somebody open. That you're not at USC anymore, man. You're playing in the NFL, and that's not going to fly. But if they can cut down on that and get that out of his head, despite the 9-game losing streak, I think again Caleb Williams has had some moments here recently where it's been pretty damn good. To his credit, don't like the body language all the time. Like when he was falling off the bench again the other game. I think that was against maybe the 49ers.
Yeah. Yes. What do you think of the 6 people on the Bears? We're going to talk to one of them coming up in about an hour on a pregame.
I can't wait to get the thoughts of David Baker, who's going to be on at that time. Well, I mean, So Scotty Tribuco, who we know, sold his ticket. He only had the Bears left on this special Christmas day at Circus Survivor. Now, he sold it a couple of weeks back, knowing that this was going to be a potential issue. There's some bias baked into this text, but he told me that he was shocked that more people weren't on the Bears based on Gino's health concerns. I don't know how you could go down with this team at this point. Current form, Paul, the defense scares me more than anything.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of his answer is your equity skyrockets if you get one thing to happen and go your way.
Well, that's...
I'd also like to know what the cutoff point is, though. Yeah, they could win the game. They're only a 4-point dog.
Sure.
What if they're 7? What if they're an 8-point dog? I mean, that's... Because then also, how about locking in a profit, too? You made it this far. What a pain in the ass it would be to hedge, and if maybe you can do something in play. Mm-hmm. But you see look at the money line is right now.
Also,
it's just
you're not going to be able to get down, in play.
True, that's right.
The limits that you would be able to get at almost any book. Well, most books anyway, taking an NFL side at this point, especially if you tell them in advance or wire money. Did you hear how much money was wired into Circa before this week? It grew up to, I never got the final number, but it was more than $2 million. People specifically who were alive in Circa Survivor wired more than $2 million, or had it ready to go, more than $2 million before the game started yesterday. To get creative, hedge, whatever the story is. You got to do something at this point to make sure you're going to win some money.
Yeah, about $350,000 right now. And the change is big after this one. Then you think it'd be easy Sunday if you got the Indianapolis Colts available. Use them. But then the other great story is there's the CP Picks, or what? Yeah, the alias that they have 2 left, both on Seattle, and they bought Tribuco's entry. And so they're guaranteed to join everyone on Sunday, the 3 Chiefs people and the 11 Ravens as well. So I think that was a great decision. They're in for $140,000, but they're guaranteed to be 2 picks away from God knows how much money.
Yeah. How about yesterday again? Started the show with this. No sweat if you had the Chiefs or the Ravens yesterday at all.
Right.
Chiefs game over, second quarter. Ravens game over.
After the goal line stand and bam, 99 yards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Over.
Yep.
Over. You had no chance of
Killer.
And people were on the Texans. One was on the Texans anyway.
Yep.
And people were on the Steelers. And you knew that it was the Titanic. You'd probably just turn the game off. Do something else on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Still close in the third quarter. I guess you could still say it wasn't over, but bad rush showed up, and then the Chiefs looked great. That's a tough way to go out where it's you could have obviously you maneuver before the game, but to sit there and watch that. By the way, the Pickens' longest reception cashed again. 10 of the last 11 that has gone over.
He didn't do much other than that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Boy, he's always mad at something.
They're going to trade him.
He's screaming at his teammates. He's screaming at the coordinator. He's screaming at the quarterback.
Christmas Day NBA reaction up next. It's been official for a long time, but yesterday solidified that to the masses.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Yesterday was a very good day for the NBA. Started early, 9 o'clock out here on the West Coast, and that was a fantastic basketball game.
Yep.
Spurs easily could have won. High scoring, 117-114, and then like the face of the NBA starting now he's 20 years old. Wembanyama was just sick, Paul. The final stat line, 42-18 with 6 threes. He had 4 blocks and 4 assists. You just got to be somehow, some way betting this guy like every night until there's a huge adjustment on his numbers, right? We talk about this all the time when they're playing weekday games. The points, 23.5.
But the threes, that's the big one.
And by the way, JVT, to his credit, he laddered him all the way to 6 yesterday.
Would that pay?
It was like plus 650.
Yeah, not bad. So I thank you for your tweet. We'll talk about it coming up. I tweeted before the game, this is the best bet going right now, is Wemby over 2.5 made threes. And it was $1.60, $1.70 in that range. He took 16 of them.
That's every game.
That's what he does. That's what he does now. He's a chucker. But they're going in, and what the numbers he's putting up, I'm not going to bore you with, but look at the game log. Go back, because it's going to tie into some futures we're going to give out. Look at his game log going back with his props and to make the case for futures as well. And he's now $3, by the way, to win Defensive Player of the Year, as he had 10 blocks in a game last week and had 8 blocks in another game. We were on the air? When were we on the air? We were on the air last Monday. He had 7 blocks. There was 2 minutes into the second quarter against Philly.
Well, here, by the way, so the last 4 games overall, I'll just give you the averages. 35 points, 10 rebounds, 6.5 blocks, 5.8 made threes on 51, 44, 86% shooting. He leads the league in points, blocks, and threes during that stretch. Think about that. Points, blocks, and made threes. So my tweet was just, I wasn't telling anybody to run out there and bet him to win the MVP this year. My point was, he's 20 years old. My prediction is just, and it's kind of simple, but he'll never be between 100 and 150 to 1 to win the MVP on Christmas Day or later ever again. Because he's so good, and this team will keep getting better every year as they add more parts, and he actually is going to get better, by the way,
right,
at only 20 years old. So think about that.
I'd like to see him down low more, but...
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of threes, man.
I know, for a guy that big. But I went against you. Now, I already had him on futures. But there's 2 ways to attack it. And if I got into it with a couple people on X, but I'm making my case. They are plus 450 to make the playoffs. The win total was in the low 30s. Brian Windhorst, before the season, said, I won't be surprised by anything that he's able to accomplish. Mm-hmm. If they're able to make the playoffs, this guy is in the mix. Because the numbers you just ran down, and the same thing, Denver stinks. Now, Joker is like even money to win it, and he's averaging a triple-double. And the on-off numbers are hideous, and it's incredible what he's doing. But they didn't give the award to Jordan every year. Will they give it to Joker again? You have SGA in the discussion as well right there, too, and Giannis. But if this guy can average 27, 13, 4 and 4 or something like that, and he's knocking down all these threes, and he carries this team into the playoffs, what's the seed? I don't know. But we did see an MVP win it as a 6 seed. So I took 150 to 1 MVP, added more. But maybe the better bet was most improved at 70 to 1.
Yeah. No, I took them all. I wasn't...
Because that's right why I say it's already starting. The podcast and the national media are already saying, here we go. This guy can do this, MVP. Look what he's doing in the last 3 weeks, right? So if you continue with this, and if there's anyone that's going to have a quadruple double, it's him too.
Yeah.
So I think that's the path. He carries his team into the playoffs. They have a winning record. He puts up ridiculous numbers. You see the blocks he can clean up, but that's also the most improved angle. Well, why is he this high? Why was he 70 to 1 for most improved when he can take that giant leap and go from very good player, and now it's he's in the Joker SGA Giannis discussion.
I know
that's mispriced.
For some reason, voters hold it against second-year players. No, I did. I bet all that. I bet him at 100. I bet him at 150 for MVP. I bet him at 70 to win most improved. I'm not going to lay $3 at this point for him to win Defensive Player of the Year. But look, what happened yesterday? Luka Doncic was hurt. There goes one of the MVP favorites.
There you go. Someone
gone.
Can get hurt. Joker can get hurt. Freak's been hurt. Yes.
So under the scenario where the Spurs, again, I don't think they have a lot of talent around. Do you see Harrison Barnes yesterday? Good God, get him off the court. He was so bad it hurt my eyeballs. So, but if the Spurs could somehow squeeze into the playoffs, so they're the 11 seed right now. They're 15 and 15. But I got news for you again. The Warriors lost again last night. They're going to have to. I don't know how they're going to do this with their salary cap, but they're going to have to make a move to be a threat this year. They're the 10 seed. The Wolves have some problems. Other teams in front of both those teams don't have great records. If the Spurs could somehow be like the 6 or the 7, exactly right.
500.
And this guy's numbers are going to be off the charts. Maybe just maybe he's going to be live. And look, you have to have like a performance on national TV that people are going to remember. And I got news for you. People are going to be talking about what happened on Christmas Day for a long time by Victor Wembanyama. Mm-hmm. He was that special in the game.
He shouldn't be 150 to 1, and he was lowered to 50 to 1 at DraftKings and other books, and he went from 70 to 30 to 1, most improved. So,
and
absolutely.
That number, by the way, closed 220.5 at 222.5 at some spots. I bet it over 225.5 2 weeks ago. I bet it over 223.5 again yesterday. I don't get the move. I talked about the game on the air on Tuesday. I did not get the move on the under. And if those two teams played a 7-game series right now in the regular season, I'd bet the game over 223.5 every single time. So that was a weird one to me.
Celtics lose again. The big one for the Sixers.
I might take some Knicks to win that division.
Oh, not bad.
Might do that.
Yeah, they seem bored and they're not right. It's a good win for the Sixers.
They've had plenty of injuries, and you're exactly right. There's something. Is it too many threes per game?
Definitely like Cleveland. That too. They took 51. I like Cleveland to get the 1 seed. They keep winning, and Celtics losing games they shouldn't.
And I'll expand on that for a second here.
Yep.
Again, when the threes are going in, and you have 6 guys hitting 3 threes in a game, and they hit 22 of them, well, nobody's going to beat Boston because they can do that. And they're taking 50-plus like every game. But when they're not going in, then it turns into a little bit different of a contest. And they
way too much of it last night. Both teams.
They get super 3 happy.
Yep, both teams. Too many threes.
The Jason Tatum rebounding prop is something that you have to have on your radar every game, too. So that is awesome. What do you like tonight? Anything? I got a bunch of player props here.
Yeah, I was looking at the prop analyzer. Ricochet, 19-5 under run on threes. Kate Cunningham thing's been great as well. 20-6 run over to the rebounds.
Yeah.
And 20-6 over run to the made threes. Murray for the Pelicans, 11-2 under run with the points. A couple props there from a side standpoint, not much. But I was going to say I really love the Knicks. I like what they're doing offensively, and they're going to be a threat. Just because now Bridges has it figured out.
Well, that was a hell of a game yesterday.
What was he doing? But that's the other thing. They needed that to win at home against San Antonio. Bridges had to be Superman.
Are you worried about the depth at all?
Yeah, okay, a little bit with the depth. But they are so good offensively, and they love Cat and what he's done. The trade has worked out for the Knicks. It has not worked out for Minnesota.
Nope.
They have a ton of issues. That would have been embarrassing. Forget it. It was embarrassing. That team knocked you out of the playoffs last year, humiliated you. You're up 28 points in the third quarter, and their best player's out. And you almost lost?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they have issues. And that's why maybe there's a world where the Spurs can jump a bunch of these teams.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything you jump out? Anything? What do you got?
Contavious Caldwell Pope. No, here's the thing. The Magic have a lot of injuries. We all know this, right?
Yeah. I like Miami after what happened last meeting.
Yeah. But for the record, he's, again, vsin.com, under tools at the very top of the page, when you go to NBA prop bet analyzer, Pope is 24-6 under 10.5 points on the year. Although, again, because of the injury, somebody's going to have to shoot. He's over that 2 out of his last 3 games. He's also 20-10 under his rebounding prop tonight and 22-8 under 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists. SGA is 20-9 under 32.5 points as they play the Pacers tonight. And Tyrese Halliburton is 23-7 under 4.5 rebounds. Trae Young, as we get Hawks Bulls, 19-9 under 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And the Nets are playing the Bucks tonight. Nick Claxton, 17-6 under 11.5 points.
Take us wherever you go. The VSiN Watch app. Never been easier to stay connected to the action, whether you're on the phone, tablet, or your smart TV. Get the VSiN Watch app, absolutely free for a limited time, 24/7 live access to the audio and video streams, replay of your favorite shows, ability to stream directly to your smart TV for the big screen experience, quick access to clips by sport, and a search feature that lets you find exactly the insights you're looking for from all the experts. Don't miss out. Get the VSiN Watch app. Stay in the game wherever you are. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
5th overtime?
Yeah. We'll update people next what's going on.
God.
End of the 5th overtime between Pitt and Toledo. Good.
All this stuff, expand the playoff. Get rid of this stupid overtime. Let's do that.
Yeah. So in-pocket plays are coming up as well, and normally I'd be pushing his player props hard for tonight, but I can't because of one simple reason. I'll tell you why next on VSiN.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. Nope. 5-1. Nope. 10-1. You're on.
All right. It's been a while. Let's dance, baby. Commanders, Sunday night against Atlanta. Love them. laying 4. So the last time we'll mention this one because it won't get graded till probably June, April, May. Man City, to finish in the bottom half of the table, 5-1. Another draw today. Big favorite against Everton. This is getting interesting. They might not finish top of in the table without the penalty and the reduction. That's how bad they don't have one win since October 30th. Okay, all right. That's the pending. Then the new Thursday night football rather. Couple with Caleb Williams, no interception, $1.10 over 27.5 rushing yards. See if you can find the 26.5 as well. He's gone over that number 4 of the last 5. And the Miami Heat +1. Remember what happened last week? They were up 22 points in the fourth quarter at Orlando, and lost the game. Teams have been 796-0 going back the last 5 years in that spot. Pat Riley comes out. We are not trading Jimmy Butler. I'll take the Miami Heat in a revenge spot. What a job, Mosley. How are they doing this? They're losing guys left and right and still winning games.
Tell me how he's not a great bet to win Coach of the Year.
I know. Well, Atkinson and certainly Udoka. But I know with all these injuries, you come back and say Cleveland at least was a top 4 seed, right, last year?
Well, this guy, I mean, 3 of their best, absolutely their 2 best players out forever.
Yep.
And they were both having awesome seasons. Now another guy goes down for a long time, and you're coming back and beating really good teams, and your head's above water here.
Yep. I recommend Wembanyama most improved. 50-1 if you can find it. That's another one.
All right. Go get him tonight. Recapping the bets that I had over the weekend. Check that. Yesterday on Christmas Day. All messed up here because of midweek holiday. Freiermuth over 20.5. That was a good one. That got there. The next game, bet it twice. Over 225.5. It went down. Don't be a moron. Put more on it. That's what I did. Bet it over 223.5. They both got there. So, this is what we are adding. Tonight, I have a bunch of bets, but a lot of the numbers have moved, so we'll go with this one. Jackson Smith and Jigba, anytime touchdown, +180. That's all I have.
All right. Ready to take your tailgate to the next level? Got to try Sewell's Barbecue. Born from a backyard cookout in a mason jar of unforgettable flavor, Sewell's has become a southern favorite, delighting taste buds from Georgia to the Carolinas. From smoky ribs and mouth-watering wings to the perfect backyard burger, Sewell's turns every bite into a flavor-packed experience. Order now, Sewell'sBarbecueSauce.com, Sewell'sBarbecueSauce.com. Flavor this good just a click away. Southern hospitality never tasted so good.
All right, so I do have other bets in the game tonight, but again, I'm not going to, some of them have moved. This is one that I was talking about before the break. Typically, I would be pounding hard for this guy, specifically when we're on the air before a primetime game. We've had a couple of spots like this year, and we were on the air on a Friday when we were waiting for the news on Kenneth Walker, if he was going to play against the Cardinals, and if he wasn't, I'm like, it's going to be all Zach Charbonnet all day long, and it happened to go that way in that game. But the reason why I'm not betting Zach Charbonnet props tonight, like the receiving yards over, because they love to throw to this guy, Geno does anyway, or a combination of the rushing and receiving yards. And I only played kind of a smaller bet on JSN tonight to go over as well when it was 69.5. But this is after the game on Sunday when the Seahawks lost to the Vikings. Geno Smith was asked if the knee injury was behind him. He said, no, it's not. It's going to be there for a while, but I have to keep pushing. So that's why I'm a little hesitant tonight to get nuts with a bunch of different player props or really dive in on the Seahawks, because I'm a little bit afraid if the knee injury goes sideways again, he takes a hit, whatever it is, he can't play. We just saw Sam Howell play as a reminder that the guy is awful. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to have anything tied into a potential Sam Howell spot tonight with player props when I think they would all be dead if anything happens to Geno. So anyway, I'm treading lightly tonight and trying to have some fun while I'm entertained by the game, hopefully, if that makes any sense.
Yep. You'll be entertained. I got some great nuggets on the pregame coming up about the Bears' first quarter. It is horrendous. Look away. Just a tease. They've been outscored 40-0 the last 4 games in the first quarter.
Oh, wow.
Think they got them ready to play?
And that bowl game is over with, by the way.
Right, yeah. What a Mickey Mouse operation. 48-46 Toledo in 6 overtimes.
They get the job done.
So
we missed his play live on the air, but this is the feedback that we're getting. Narduzzi special, I guess, is what just took place. So it was the end of the second overtime. Pittsburgh, they were down by 3 with the ball, 4th and goal at the 1-yard line.
No.
Again, think of this, end of the second overtime.
No, he didn't.
Option A, go for it. You get it, you win. Option B, you kick the field goal, you make it, you go to the stupid 2-point conversion off. And that's exactly what he decided to do.
He kicked an 18-yard field goal in a bowl game?
Rather than go for the win, and he decided, let's play this out. I like my chances going for 2 against their team. That is just so weak, man. How do you justify that to anybody? That is pathetic. I'm glad I didn't have Pitt because I would be breaking things right now because of that guy.
Oh, my God.
Good. You have a reputation for a reason.
I'm looking at it. I still don't believe it.
And that just made it 10 times worse. It's a meaningless bowl game, man. What are you telling your players, by the way? Who wants to play for that crap? What kid is watching this saying, you know what, I can't wait to transfer there. Give me my NIL money from Pittsburgh.
They're up 10 with 8 minutes, had the ball. They threw 2 pick sixes in the game.
Oh, wow.
How do you kick a field goal there?
You can't do it.
Oh, that's terrible. I can't.
There's no good answer. I don't care what he says. I wanted to take our chances with a coin flip going. What is 4th and 1 at the goal line?
1-yard line.
It's better than they're not going to see the ball again if you score. Game's over, but you want to play the back and forth Mickey Mouse crap that you have?
Oh, man. Look at this now. Touchdown Rutgers. 24-17.
Well,
still 4 minutes till halftime.
Wow. Okay. So, that move from 6.5 to 7.5 here on game day. In fact, what was it, maybe an hour before kickoff when it went through that key number?
Ooh.
And Kansas State kept taking money?
What's that total now? Holy cow. Man.
What do you want to do with any of these other bowl games?
Well, let me ask you this. Are you... Now, you see what's happened, what's transpired earlier. Now, bookmakers are... The in-play total 73.5. How about the run with the chalk here? And if you're scared off by that, or maybe... Bowl favorites were on an 11-2-1 run. NFL favorites 13-5 run last 18 with these primetime games. It's 24-7-1. I mean, it goes back to what we watched with the college playoffs and then the Saturday NFL games, and then it continued on Christmas.
Yeah.
Like the books, like one bookmaker told you, I can't wait for the season to end. This is nuts what's going on.
Again,
Chalk City.
It's one I'd like to make the case for Chicago tonight. Plenty of reasons why. But, I mean, it's...
These standalone primetime games, Chalks have been getting it done.
Right. I'm going to hate myself if I sit there and say, the number's gotten out of control. It's 5. I got to take the Bears. And they come out tonight, and the defense just completely quit. You know, the comments, again, are awful coming out of that team. And the play has been worse on the field going back several weeks now. And if the Seahawks have them dead and buried at halftime, that's not fun. I was actually thinking about making the Bears a contest play. No way, no how can I do that? It's 3.5 and 1 in the contest.
Yeah.
So that's changed things too.
Mm-hmm.
I like a league when the dogs are barking.
Well, home dogs all time bad.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so get it done. I don't have a problem with Richardson doesn't play Sunday and he's nicked up. It's like, okay, well, with the Giants, that product they're putting out there, doing all the things to lose. It's every which way but loose. Survivor, teaser, straight bets on the Colts. And who knows? Maybe they get some life after what happens Saturday with the games. I can't see the Chargers laying 4. The Chargers can't beat the Patriots. Winning in, Harbaugh, extra rest, Harbaugh against Mayo? Come on.
Well, I mean, the Patriots almost beat Buffalo last week.
Yeah. Buffalo was sleepwalking, I know.
What do you think of May? I like May.
He's good. I don't think we should overdo it, though.
No, I think May can play.
Yeah. I'd like to see him with some weapons.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't have much to work with, and he's getting it done. Yeah. No doubt. But that Saturday triple header is intriguing.
Again, based on what we saw yesterday, again, and the numbers that Netflix put out there, we're going to have NFL Christmas games forever, and they might go to a full-time triple header.
Think about how...
NBA players are not happy, but...
Oh, I know. Well, LeBron said it, too. I know. Right. But how much time and money do you think Beyonce put into that? The choreography?
What would they pay her? Do you know that number?
I don't know, but imagine. I don't know.
I guess
throw me any number.
I guess
20?
$20 million. My wife Lorraine laughed at me.
Too low?
Way too low, she said.
Get out.
That's
What's $21 for a pack of cigarettes?
yeah.
Who knows?